Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Fallen London. We are about to board a vessel that is going to take us to the surface, I believe. But either way, we won't be able to return to London for quite a while. Mary seems delighted to be on her first voyage, and is enthralled by as simple an act as the sailors rapidly coiling a dock rope. Her fiancé, on the other hand, paces the deck nervously. You just don't understand. You'd be safer staying. Mary will have none of it. This is our first trip we take together, and you're going to be like this? Nothing here can scare me as much as she can, she laughs. Shoo! Go to the front and don't come back till you've prepared to treat me like an adult. The captain is a phlegmatic chap and difficult to coax to speech. When you join him in the wheelhouse, he shakes his head vigorously and points to the deck. The illuminated spinster and Mary bicker affectionately. They sidle across to exchange some fondness, but the spinster's anxiety inevitably causes friction. They don't seem to know how to spend time together. So long have they been kept apart. After many hours, the horizon is broken by a small island. The ship slows. The captain joins you on deck. Brief stop, he grunts. Behind him, sailors shift several crates to the deck to be offloaded. Oh, isn't this a bit strange? The lid of the crate has shaken loose over the journey. Inside is a box of chilled roses, red and white. No one is likely to miss you taking one. Yes, I will take a rose. The crate is unmarked. There's no indication of the intended recipient. Perhaps the box was going spare, and a canny sailor thought to store a surprise for his beloved. But the cost alone makes that unlikely. No matter, the box is packed. It's unlikely anyone will notice 2 flowers are missing. Ooh, so we can either go with the spinster and Mary. Old habits, the spinster says. I have to know what they're up to. She's across the gangplank faster than an urchin down a drain pipe. Mary glances at you. We can either stay with Mary aboard the ship. She's standing by the gangplank, considering the island nervously. I'll go if you want to go, but we could just stay aboard. Let's go with the spinster and Mary. I'm interested in what they're up to. You and Mary catch up with her in a small cave, but the sailors are stacking and tying boxes. Look, this cave is barely above water, and the boxes are waterproofed, see? The spinster nods, appreciatively. Even if this place were found, most of the time the stuff would be completely concealed. A nice extra precaution. But why would royal servants be using a smuggler's ship? It'll be about tax. Those with too much money like to keep it. There is a glint in her eye, a spark you've not seen before. Has she stopped worrying about the trip then? I'm trying to think about it. I should know better than this. She shakes her head. She wooed me, you know. I wouldn't have dreamed otherwise. Mary grins unrepentantly. After a brief stop, you are back sailing towards the Cumaean Canal, with Mary and the illustrated spinster. The whistle hoots again, twice more. Water laps slightly higher on the rocks. It's time to leave, and swiftly. Everyone on the island rushes back aboard, and once the head count is complete, the ship pulls away. In only a few hours, the sailors perk up. One gets out a telescope and scans the horizon, then gives a long, loud whistle. The crew burst into action. Prepare to dock. The lights of port shine on horizon. Sailors call to each other, checking the ropes. The ship slows to little more than a walking pace. Sailors ready fenders. You draw near to the main lock of the Cumaean Canal. You have arrived at the Cumaean Canal. Just a few locks and you'll be at your destination. Synthesis point. The Cumaean Canal is a miracle of modern engineering. A series of locks lead from the shores of the undersea upwards. The canal emerges in Lake Avernus, in the south of Italy. From there, the canal runs overground to the bay by Bacoli. You will not travel that far. There are various staging points around which small trading posts have sprung up. Sea captains travel up as far as their courage takes them. Surface captains venture down to meet them. You will go towards the sunlight, but not all the way. You're heading several locks up to Synthesis Point. After a thorough examination of your ship by customs officials, it is passed to travel. The ship begins the monotonous journey upwards, nosing into lock, waiting as the ship bobs upward, nosing forward once more. The spinster and Mary stand at the stern of the boat, looking down at the undersea. They hold hands, their fingers interweaved. If they notice, you join them. They make no acknowledgement. Mary breaks the silence. If we could just stay like this forever. Get away from all those games. The illustrated spinster is as soft as thoughtful. The rest wouldn't matter. We'd be free. Mary nods. Neither says another word till the whistle blows, and the sailors get ready to moor. The sailors are already at work cleaning and repairing, readying the ship for its return journey. Few disembark. Many seem reluctant to spend much time even on the dock. The illustrated spinster looks around with grim recognition, but even she is forced to smile at Mary's wide-eyed delight, at the awe which she points out tanned surface sailors and the piles of cheap, fresh fruit. As you disembark, the first mate sidles over to you and presses a violet-coloured mushroom into your hand. From a dark-dwelling patron. He says no more. The illustrated spinster has gestured for you to join her, out of hearing of Mary. This captain won't take me any higher. I need to signal one of the agents here. She smiles ruefully. Could you do it? I'd like to spend as much time with my fiancé as I can before I have to leave. She seems certain she's going on her own. Of course I am. No idea if I'll survive up there, but I'm certain she won't. I'm not letting that happen. She thrusts an arrangement of flowers and mushrooms into your hands. Please, just give me a little time. Leave one at each of the shops here. Someone will be watching. She goes to return to Mary, but turns back to you. You've not given her my message, have you? You won't get another chance. I'll go check our bags while you do it. Please. Aha! So now we get to make another bouquet. Well, we get to make the bouquet. Bright and cheerful, a sign of endurance, the loving dandelion. Add one red and one white rose, a symbol of unity and the strength they'll have with it. White violet for happiness, so much so worth taking. Did we not pick up more flowers than this? We'll be fine. Right, well, let's start with a white violet. The pair face a final hurdle. One thing, then they'll have all the time in the world for each other. They could even move their engagement onto marriage, but to do so, they must still be with each other. Whatever they face, they must remember why they do it, and not do it alone. Then let's add red and white rose. They are heading into uncertain dangers. Perhaps one might wish to brave them alone to protect others. This would be foolishness. Now is not the time for noble sacrifices, for either of them. How noble would such a sacrifice be if it forces the other to live alone? And let's add a dandelion. If you've survived the journey to the surface, perhaps one could go, preserving the other, but could they risk being separated? They have worked so hard for mere moments with each other. They will be stronger with each other, better able to face whatever they encounter. They should head to the surface together. I can't help but think that I may have done all of the ones that tell them they should work together. Okay, let's give the flowers to Mary. Astonishment. That's unlike her. Mary's smile wobbles. I never thought she'd come round. She's always bloody wearing herself out to help me. I know I'm not ungrateful, but she's always bears the cost. And I'll have to watch. It's not fair. Mary places the flowers on a crate beside the gangplank. I'll come back for these. It does me good to know she understands. We're in this together. The couple should stand together, no matter the risk. A sentiment that is true. Synthesis Point is a small but bustling staging station, Wan sailors mingle with their surface counterparts. There is a healthy exchange in knickknacks and gewgaws, the items doubling in value when they move from the surface to the neath, or neath to the surface. The illustrated spinster stands with Mary, watching two sailors haggle with a fruit seller over a mango. Mary giggles with delight. The spinster smiles, but it does not reach her eyes. So we have three options here. We can investigate the Point's premier eating establishment. It's not a particularly impressive claim, as far as you can see. It's the only restaurant here. We can visit the Symphysis Sylvaneers. The shop is largely filled with tat, but perhaps they'd appreciate you telling them about the rogue apostrophe in their signage. Or we can converse with the engineers. A permanent workshop serves ships travelling in both directions. Those working here will be the first to hear of any gossip. Let's go to the eating establishment. Despite its name, the cafe has no pretensions about its meals. They are simple, stodgy, warm and filling. The perfect antidote for too long subsiding on ship's rations. The cafe is frequented by sailors and sailors, eager for a break from the food served aboard their vessels. The menu is potato-based, although each potato dish is offered with roast chicken or sausage. There is no indication what meat the sausages are made from. The cafe is doing a thriving business. Strangers sit close together at checkered tablecloth tables. They eat in companionable silence. The air is filled with the smell of gravy. A side door is blocked by a mammoth of a man, a scarred giant. He appears to have no job other than preventing the public passing through. So we can either dine. You should always take the opportunity to eat when you can, and the food here is good value, at least by volume. We can leave part of the spinster's bouquet. There is a table for one, crammed in by the entrance. On it is a salt and pepper set, a small candle, and a small, empty vase. Or we can squeeze past the man-mammoth into the alley. His posture is threatening, but that is the only deterrent. He's unlikely to start a brawl here. I wonder if we can. I am curious. What is he hiding? But I don't want to annoy the Royal Enforcers, I don't think. Well, either way, let's dine first. The menu is simple, if almost endless. Pick your potato, add your meat, drown it all in gravy. Chips, mash, roast baked, gratin, potato pie, potato pancakes, colcanon, cottle, boiled grilled, hash brown potatoes, Hasselback potatoes, patatas, bravas, rosti. Oh god, there's so much food here. The meats, chicken, sausage, gravy. Even for the potato Dauphonius? Oh dear, I am terrible with foreign food names. I'm terrible with foreign language in general. I'm just going to apologise right there. They even chuck in a bottle of wine. Although it is intended for each table to share, no one even seems to mind when you take the napkin. Perhaps it's easier to replace them than launder them. I want to investigate. Squeeze past the man-mammoth into the alley. A few sailors glance at you, then look away, ostentatiously not seeing where you're going. A couple leave their meals unfinished and make to go. You watch it, the scarred man grunts at you, but he doesn't even move to take the cudgel from his belt. Mind, if he doesn't move to let you past either, you are forced to squeeze behind his hip and the door frame. Oh god. The alley leads onto an open courtyard bustling with brutes. Burly men and women in grey uniforms of Royal Enforcers rule here. Some manage workers shifting crates, others check papers. A few off-duty enforcers stand around a brazier, conversing. In one corner, a woman placates a small group of dock workers. In another, a long queue of ragged workers wait to have documents stamped. They seem despairing, exhausted. The cheerful air elsewhere in the port is entirely gone. Let's eavesdrop on the placating woman. She is fresh-faced, and her grey uniform is clean and ironed. She stands in stark contrast to the workers she addresses, a smile plastered on her face. The workers are complaining about the time they've been stationed at the point. Their contracts have been extended repeatedly, their shifts becoming endless. You personally promised we would get taken back up, and soon. I can't even remember what the sun looks like. They are fobbed off. It's just staffing problems. I keep my promises. Look, remember Jimmy? He got taken up at the end of his contract. There is a grumble in response. The woman continues. No, I completely agree. You're right. He hasn't been back. He must just be very happy up there. Hey, and soon you'll be able to join him. I promise. Oh, that's the sound of a man who got killed. Or the story of a man who got killed, I should say. We can join the group of off-duty enforcers. Your clothes are far better than those of average workers here. If you assume the posture of authority, perhaps you'll be taken as for a royal enforcer, out of uniform. The enforcers share cigarettes and lewd jokes. One passes around a bottle of cheap port. Cheerful rivalries prompt them to speak of their work. Which of them has the worst role? Who is the most hard done by? The enforcer, who is in charge of the workers' fixes, privies, is sure his role is the worst. Certainly, the others recoil in mock horror at his imagined stench. One, a medic, speaks of having to treat some of the more unpleasant injuries. Finally, a thin-faced man coughs for attention. He signs off the contract extensions, even when he knows a worker will be down too long to return. But I have to, don't I? Someone has to, or this whole place would stop working. He shakes his head. Nobly unwilling to place the guilt on another. Absolute, there is no other way. The port is sympathetically passed back to him. I guess we'll join the queue for... oh. You know what? Let's slip out before we're noticed. Because I fear if I do this, they'll know I'm here and then I'll get in trouble. You don't seem to have drawn undue attention. If you leave now, maybe the enforcers won't mind that you've been here. Whoop. A band of tired workers shuffle back to the docking area of the point. You press into the middle of the group. As they break out of the shadows into the main dock area, the workers plaster on smiles and force a spring into their step. Well, let's put down the bouquet here as well. The sailor sitting at the table is polishing off a pile of roast potatoes with impressive alacrity. He doesn't even look up. The waitress, however, spots you placing the flower in the vase. She immediately comes over to top up both the sailor's water glass and the vase. Give it a mite more life, eh? And then she's away again, responding to a demand for additional gravy. Well, let's leave the restaurant. You leave on a waft of rich scents. Whatever emitted that, something that savoury must have surely come from the surface. It's that, or the cook is a genius with mushrooms. Well, let's visit Sympathis Sylvaneas. The window display is a miniature series of locks, made from matchboxes. About 40 matchboxes. Up is an arrow made from cardboard. On it are the words, "You are here." The bell jangles as you push open the door. An old man with thick glasses glances up from a pulp novel and beams at you. "Good day, good day." Before you say anything, "I already know." The old man shakes his head while chuckling. "Rogue apostrophe. It was an idea of my wife's to get people in. Got to say, it has worked, but she's not the one manning the shop." He beams and gestures widely, almost knocking down a steamship in a bottle from its shelf. "Please, take your time." Sitting on a stool by the back door is a wiry youth with a small machete. She is using it to pare her nails. Let's pick through the piles of bric-a-brac. There is an extraordinary array of little china, animals, baskets full of oddly shaped bottles, candles in unexpected shapes. This shop seems as much a toy shop than Sylvanear's shop. There are engravings of the view, model ships and working model lock, without water. At this point, the proprietor has branched into whatever might occupy a traveller or their family. Behind the array of brisk dolls is a basket of foreign currency. It's the odds and ends I get in change. It's amazing how many people make that mistake. To one side there is a stack of twee paintings, wildflowers and mountain streams, and charming cottage gardens, lit in the golden light of dawn. What appears to be a bucket of bright brooches is actually a small infestation, but the beetles are beautiful in their own way. Acknowledge the princess's maid? She has hurried into the shop after you and is shuffling anxiously in your peripheral vision. She wants to talk. I need you to do me a favour. Her eyes are creased with worry. She doesn't tell me things, tries to protect me. She can't help herself. She made it her mission since the first time she saw me. She saw me with the princess and... She shakes her head. But I know she intends to take the message to the surface. She mustn't. She has already died twice. If she goes up... Tears well up. You don't know what it was like with the princess. The princess twists you. I adored her and despised myself for it. Just by giving me something real to love, my fiancé has already saved me. It's my turn. My turn. She turns for the door. So, if you have a chance to change her mind or distract her or... Just let me go, would you? Good God, everyone wants to go to the damn surface. I mean, we could step around the youth to see what's through the door, but I feel that may take us to the same point as before, so maybe not. Let's leave part of the spinster's bouquet. You could replace that toy soldier's gun with a poppy, and then stick it in the window by the display. The shopkeeper doesn't look the sort to mind. The rifle pops free from the soldier's hand, leaving a hole ideal for a flower stem. The fading red of the poppy matches the sun-bleached jacket of the toy. It must have come from the surface, perhaps sent down here as damaged stock. Oh, that's a lovely idea! Where shall we put them? The shopkeeper prizes the guns from several other toys and carries them to the window. How about here? He places them in a circle, level with the model of Synthesis Point, and places your poppy-wielding soldier at the centre. Lovely! That'll cheer people right up. Okay, let's leave the shop. Let's converse with the engineers. The workshop is hot and rings with noise, engines thrumming, metal being beaten back into shape, the shouts of those passing tools to and fro. It's several minutes before anyone notices you've entered. The workshops are a hazard of swinging tools and burning flames. Conversation is difficult at the best of times, but the intermittent roar of blowtorches occasionally renders it impossible. The workers here have opted for comfort over safety, most in shoe shirts and even aprons, only working in shorts. Torsos gleam with sweat, muscles flex. One worker stands off from the rest. He stands half blocking a doorway, twirling a large spanner, absently minded. He must be on break. Or he's a man who's going to break your kneecaps if you go too close. Let's gossip with the workers on a break. 4 workers sit on vast coils of wire, drinking tea. Even in the overheated workshops, the tea steams. The workers gulp it down. Either they've a remarkable tolerance for near-boiling liquids, or they've already burned away any nerves. This group lives on the surface. They do a 21-day shift at Synthesis Point before swapping with a group from above. The money's good. They're plied with extraordinary tales by travellers, and so long as they don't overstay and suffer any fatal wounds, they've found that they've no trouble with the sun on their return. They're in a particularly good mood today. They're heading home that evening. One's wife and newborn daughter live in Naples. He'll see her for the first time in the morning. Let's speak with the spinster. She's broken away from Mary to slip into the workshop. She's inquisitively eyeing a row of tools. She picks up a spanner, weighs its heft in her hand. Could be rough up there. I'd like to be prepared. She makes eye contact with a worker, nods, then slips the tool into her bag. You know, my lady, this might be for the best. She speaks in a low voice. I have no doubt that the princess couldn't even see the suffering if she visited. The only goal for her message is to stir up trouble for her family. But if her sister, Victoria, has a conscience, it could improve things here. Keep people back to the surface before it's unsafe for them to return. That makes it worth me doing. and helps me swallow the knowledge I'm doing her bidding. She holds your gaze for a moment and heads for the door. Let's leave part of the spinster's bouquet. A tool rack by the door has hooks and holes for various implements. The stem of this mushroom should fit nicely in the space reserved for an auger. You have to squeeze the stem to make it fit in the hole. It releases a vinegary smell, quickly overwhelmed by the stench of someone welding. The mushroom sits jauntily in the tool rack. It is out of the way and unlikely to be knocked down till the end of the day, yet easy to notice from the workshop door. One of the carpenters has noticed your action. She considers you first, then the mushroom, and nods. She swaps her plane for a chisel and gets back to work. Now, a small part of me does want to see what happens if I push my luck in the back, but it is only once you're outside that you can recognize how thick the air was filled with tar fumes, smoke and sweat. You can only once more breathe without the smell of catching in your throat. Either way, this seems like a perfect place to end this episode. Let me know if I should push my luck in the back, if anyone has done that, if it doesn't cause a negative reaction. But either way, thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, let me know what you think. Your comments are greatly appreciated. And as always, I'll see you next time.